from Group X. I'm Nadita Tiknia Erlanda from Science 3, number 25.
I'm Rita Sejanugro from Science 3, number 29.
I am Elvazan Najariski Widosi from Science 3, number 8.
I am Oliver Akbar from Science 3, number 34. We will present dialogue about drugs translation.
Ulenuha is walking down the street in the evening after school. He walks and sees a suspicious activity between two people in the park. Two suspicious people are standing in a remote area of the park. One gives a small box with energetic expression.
It's been a tiring day. Wait, what are they doing there? Oh my god, they look so suspicious. Oh my god, are they drug dealers? Wait, what box is that? Oh my god, what are they doing here? It's almost dark, I have to go home.
The next day later, Pauline meets Rita after class.
Hey, yesterday, I found something strange and something suspicious.
What's that? Let me show you.
Okay, firstly, sit down please. I'm so tired.
Alright.
So, yesterday in the park, I found something really peculiar.
Let's meet guys. We came to the background and set activity activity of the second floor.
Hey, what are you doing here? Why you not invite me?
Can we join you? We are really bored.
We're just going around.
Alright, the more the better.
So, what are you talking about?
We said that we saw a suspicious activity in the park.
What activity?
I think it's like drug transaction.
Maybe you assume that is a transaction.
Did they do it secretly?
Yeah, they did. They did it in the corner of the park with small dogs in his hands and cash in the other hand.
Maybe it's a drug transaction?
I can hardly see that he gives small bill and vouchers. But, yeah, maybe you are right.
I'm curious what's going on over there. What is addicted to drugs, by the way?
Some of them are addicted with any substance you did.
Yeah, they are addicted with that particular substance.
Hey, look, it's raining. I want to go home now. We can continue this discussion tomorrow.
Okay.
The next day later,
Hey guys, what are you doing right now?
I'm watching a movie.
I think I want to continue our discussion yesterday.
Okay. Let's continue our discuss.
What makes people addicted to drugs?
I don't think they are just addicted, then they buy the illicit goods.
Then,
I'm thinking about it. I don't believe many people buy drugs to have it.
Yes, I mean, there are so many people who buy drugs without their awareness.
I know. Some dealers use drug in their treatment too.
Poor boy. Drug could be inside the candy and toys, huh?
you're right. Sometimes I'm confused with people who just treat it for prestige.
Yes, they ruin their own lives.
Usually drugs are made for a job, but why aren't they addicted like the others?
I think they use different trading and amount of drugs, so they are not as addicted.
But I once read a patient who was addicted to drugs after returning from the hospital.
Huh? Really? It means that drug is really dangerous.
Actually, there are some benefits, but humans are creative. They will do anything they want to do and eat whatever they want to eat.
By the way, because of my curiosity, I'm looking for more narcotics information.
Now let me laptop.
Sure, thanks.
What causes, say, heroin addiction? This is a really stupid question, right? It's obvious, we all know it. Heroin causes heroin addiction. Here's how it works. If you use heroin for 20 days, by day 21, your body would physically crave the drug ferociously because there are chemical hooks in the drug. That's what addiction means. But there's a catch. Almost everything we think we know about addiction is wrong. If you, for example, break your hip, you'll be taken to a hospital and you'll be given loads of diamorphine for weeks or even months. Diamorphine is heroin. It's in fact much stronger heroin than any addict can get on the street because it's not contaminated by all the stuff drug dealers dilute it with. There are people near you being given loads of deluxe heroin in hospitals right now, so at least some of them should become addicts. But this has been closely studied. It doesn't happen. Your grandmother wasn't turned into a junkie by her hip replacement. Why is that? Our current theory of addiction comes in part from a series of experiments that were carried out earlier in the 20th century. The experiment is simple. You take a rat and put it in a cage with 2 water bottles. One is just water, the other is water laced with heroin or cocaine. Almost every time you run this experiment, the rat will become obsessed with the drugged water and keep coming back for more and more until it kills itself. But in the 1970s, Bruce Alexander, a professor of psychology, noticed something odd about this experiment. The rat is put in the cage all alone. It has nothing to do but take the drugs. What would happen, he wondered, if we tried this differently? So he built Rat Park, which is basically heaven for rats. It's a lush cage where the rats would have colored balls, tunnels to scamper down, plenty of friends to play with, and they could have loads of sex. Everything a rat about town could want. And they would have the drugged water and the normal water bottles. But here's the fascinating thing. In Rat Park, rats hardly ever use the drugged water. None of them ever use it compulsively. None of them ever overdose. But maybe this is a quirk of rats, right? Well, helpfully, there was a human experiment along the same lines, the Vietnam War. 20% of American troops in Vietnam were using a lot of heroin. People back home were really panicked because they thought there would be hundreds of thousands of junkies on the streets of the United States when the war was over. But a study followed the soldiers home and found something striking. They didn't go to rehab. They didn't even go into withdrawal. 95% of them just stopped after they got home. If you believe the old theory of addiction, that makes no sense. But if you believe Professor Alexander's theory, it makes perfect sense. Because if you're put into a horrific jungle in a foreign country where you don't want to be, and you could be forced to kill or die at any moment, doing heroin is a great way to spend your time. But if you go back to your nice home with your friends and your family, it's the equivalent of being taken out of that first cage and put into a human rat park. It's not the chemicals, it's your cage. We need to think about addiction differently. Human beings have an innate need to bond and connect. When we are happy and healthy, we will bond with the people around us. But when we can't, because we're traumatized, isolated, or beaten down by life, we will bond with something that gives us some sense of relief. It might be endlessly checking a smartphone, it might be pornography, video games, Reddit, gambling, or it might be cocaine. But we will bond with something because that is our human nature. The path out of unhealthy bonds is to form healthy bonds, to be connected to people you want to be present with. Addiction is just one symptom of the crisis of disconnection that's happening all around us. We all feel it. Since the 1950s, the average number of close friends an American has been steadily declining. At the same time, the amount of floor space in their homes has been steadily increasing. To choose floor space over friends, to choose stuff over connection. The war on drugs we've been fighting for almost a century now has made everything worse. Instead of helping people heal and getting their life together, we have cast them out from society. We have made it harder for them to get jobs and become stable. We take benefits and support away from them if we catch them with drugs. We throw them in prison cells, which are literally cages. We put people who are not well in a situation that makes them feel worse and hate them for not recovering. For too long, we've talked only about individual recovery from addiction. But we need now to talk about social recovery, because something has gone wrong with us as a group. We have to build a society that looks a lot more like Rat Park and a lot less like those isolated cages. We are going to have to change the unnatural way we live and rediscover each other. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. This video is a collaboration with Johan Hari, the author of the book Chasing the Scream, The First and Last Days of the War on Drugs. He was very kind to work with us on this video to spread the word. We recommend that you give the book a try. Our videos are made thanks to your support on patreon.com. If you want to help us make more of them, we really appreciate your support. We made an interactive version of this video together with some friends. See the link in the description.
Loneliness is also a factor of drug abuse.
Yes, lack of socialization is that.
It should be that if you have friends who are antisocial and easily offended, you must keep an eye on them. And I'm afraid that they might even run away from the problem and consume drugs.
That's right. Drugs may mislead everyone.
Nowadays, there are many people who are caught on drug abuse.
As I told, why don't they search for the consequence from drugs?
The young generation is largely ignorant of environment. Even their gadgets are entering drugs and nobody aware of it. Please note that gadget addiction also has bad effects.
Yes, this can help even their network, which is one also a factor where people consuming drugs.
I think this is why Indonesia has not developed yet.
Yes, I think even from the farmers or employees in this country, they are involved in this case.
If the farmer is affected, it means that food productivity is hampered. And about employees, they might lose focus while working.
There are also many effects of drugs in life, and there are even more factors.
Addiction should be ostracized. We should approach them and give more knowledge and socialization about drug abuse.
At least they have intention of joining rehabilitation anyway.
Hopefully, the next generation should be more aware to the environment and don't ignore the current situation in Indonesia.
At least minimize the occurrence of drug abuse. We must play a role in the environment to avoid it.
Thanks for your attention.
Wassalamualaikum
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Make you curse, but see your blessing.